Imagine this. A typical home used to cost just 3 times the average household income. A family could buy a house in just 3 years of work. Today, not a single major city on earth is affordable. Homes now cost 5, 10, even 20 times what the average person earns. And in cities like Hong Kong, Sydney, and Vancouver, owning a home is no longer a dream. It's almost impossible. So, how did we get here? Why are prices still rising even when most people can't afford to buy? And is there any hope for the generations trying to enter the market? Let's break it down. A 2023 report looked at 95 major cities around the world. Not one is considered affordable anymore. In fact, in Beijing and Shanghai, the price-to-income ratio routinely exceeds 20 to 30 times. In Hong Kong, Sydney, and Vancouver, it's 9, 10, even 14 times income. When housing becomes an investment instead of a home, it affects everything. Families delay having children, young people stop saving, and workers refuse to move for better jobs. The very people who keep our cities running, teachers, nurses, builders, often cannot afford to live there. Globally, the median home now costs over 5 times the typical household income, compared to just 3 times a few decades ago. So, what changed? Why did this crisis happen so fast? It's a chain reaction. First, restricted supply. Zoning laws, height caps, parking minimums, and slow approvals limit how many homes can be built. Second, investor mania. Real estate became a financial product. Hedge funds, institutional buyers, and even regular households treated homes as assets that always go up. Third, wage stagnation. While housing prices soared, wages barely kept up. In the US, median real wages have increased just 10% in the last 20 years, while house prices doubled, tripled, or quadrupled. Fourth, cheap money. Low interest rates and global cash surges fueled demand, letting buyers pay more for fewer homes. The result? Prices rose faster than anyone could save. Even a disciplined saver, putting away 70% of their income, would barely keep up with a home's price increases. You might ask, if most people can't afford homes, shouldn't prices fall? Not quite. Here's why. Low down payments. The average first-time buyer today can put down just 7% thanks to programs and loans like Zillow's 1% down pilot. Supply constraints. Homeowners are reluctant to sell because their mortgage rates are low, while moving would require expensive new loans. Investors. Institutional buyers and REITs are buying residential property in bulk, often renting it out at high prices. In 2022, investor purchases grew 145% year on year. Even as affordability drops, homes remain a safe asset, creating a feedback loop where scarcity drives prices higher. Let's zoom in on the United States. In 1972, the median home cost about 3 times the median household income, affordable for most working families. Fast forward to 2022. The median home costs 6 times the median income. And yet, homeownership remains the backbone of middle-class wealth. Today, low supply and rising interest rates have created a paradox. Homeowners with 3 to 4% fixed-rate mortgages don't want to sell. This freezes the market, keeps vacancy rates at historic lows, and keeps prices high, even as wages stagnate. Add to that barriers for people of color who are more likely to be denied mortgages. And you have a system that is systematically making homeownership harder for millions. The impact goes beyond numbers. Young people are living with parents longer. Families delay kids. Workers turn down better jobs because relocating is too expensive. Renting a home can cost 30 to 35% of income, right above the economist's threshold for unaffordable. Meanwhile, existing homeowners gain wealth automatically as scarcity pushes their property values up. This deepens inequality and locks out younger generations from the housing market. Some countries are trying solutions. New Zealand mandates cities to zone enough land for 30 years of demand. Singapore has public housing programs that allow nearly 90% home ownership. Wales and Hong Kong tax second homes heavily to curb speculation. In the US, some cities are loosening single-family zoning to allow duplexes and small apartments. The lesson? Solving this crisis isn't just about building more homes. It's about who can buy them, where, and under what conditions. Treating housing as infrastructure rather than a speculative asset is key to long-term affordability. The housing crisis is global, complex, and decades in the making. It's a combination of policy, finance, and human behavior that has made homeownership increasingly unattainable. For individuals, that doesn't mean financial stability is impossible. Renting wisely, exploring lower-cost markets, and investing in other assets can still help build wealth. For governments, the challenge is structural. Balance supply, regulate speculation, and make sure homes serve people, not just capital. The question remains, can the dream of owning a home survive the 21st century? Maybe, but only if we rethink how homes are built, bought, and valued. If you want to understand why inequality is reaching a tipping point and how housing fits into the bigger financial picture, check out our next video. Subscribe and hit the bell to stay informed, because understanding this now might just protect your future.